Okay, so hi everyone. I think I've popped in a few times on these calls. I know we did a breathing exercise I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. But my name is Danielle. I'm the Behavioral Health Manager at Englewood Health. And today we're going to talk a little bit about stress management and also within the context of diabetes and what we can do to take care of ourselves. So stress is a hot topic these days, so I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, everyone can see? We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I like to start with this slide when we're talking about stress because I think it's fair to say, I think we're at 9 months now into the pandemic. And so for all of us, our lives shifted very dramatically, I think within a matter of a couple of days, to this new reality of distancing ourselves. Our social interactions have changed. How we go about our days has changed. People have been impacted in different ways. So for some people have lost their jobs. I know businesses are struggling. We know that unemployment has increased. And in addition to the fears of the virus and our health concerns, we're also experiencing a lot of social unrest in our country, a lot of divisiveness. And so we have all of this swirling around us on a daily basis, and we're taking in all sorts of information. And most of it, in my opinion, is fear-based. And it's not something you feel good about turning on the news these days. So, for example, these are the words that are coming at us. We're hearing about the virus and death tolls and quarantine. And at least everyone I've been talking to lately, including myself, is I think we're at a point where we're all sort of exhausted, right? We're hoping for, a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think we'll get there.
I'm gonna lock the door and leave it.
It's important to, take care of yourselves throughout this process so we stay healthy. So when we're talking about stress, I want to just talk about some things that can happen. We all experience stress, so it's normal for us to all feel stressed at different times, even different times throughout the day. And that can look like things like a racing heart, or maybe shaky hands, or maybe you're clenching your fists tight. Sometimes for people, it's like your muscle spasms, or even GI issues like upset stomach, or it can also be sleep disturbances. I know a lot of people are reporting difficulty sleeping right now. So you want to make sure that you're getting enough sleep each night. And then, of course, under stress, some people eat more and some people eat less. So just seeing how to admit someone here. I heard him. Did you hear someone come in?
No, it might be because you're the host.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
If you go to participants, Danielle, maybe?
Yeah, but it wasn't. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Anyway, so yes, we're having sleeping, and some people are eating more or eating less when they get stressed. I know for myself, I often first feel stress in my neck and shoulders and muscle tension. So it's important to be aware of what happens for you, so then you know how to work with it if you are feeling. Also, stress manifests emotionally. So for us, that can look like different things. I'll say for me, it usually looks like anxiety, but for someone else, it can look like anger. This is if you're feeling overwhelmed, you might have trouble focusing. Maybe the feedback you're getting from your family and friends is that you're moody. Maybe you're kind of feeling worthless. All of these can be signs of too much stress in our lives. So with that being said, I kind of just want to hear from the group. What are some examples of stress that you're experiencing right now? Whoever wants to jump in, I'd love to hear, what's stressing you out. I have a lot of answers to this question myself, so I'd love to hear from everyone.
Well, we just moved, we bought a house, and the stress level with this new house is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The first day we moved in, the hot water tank blew. That had a leak. So we had no hot water. Then come to find out the floor that was in the basement has asbestos in the tile. So now we got to section off the house to rip up the tiles.
Yeah, you just named probably one of the most stressful things you can do is to move, and then when you do move and you find out that there's issues, and that's stressful as well. So yeah, that's a great example. It's probably one of the top stressors for all of us. So thank you. Anyone else?
Well, today as I was telling you guys before, with my dad, I had my dad here. He's in a rehab center. And this morning they called and told me they were sending him to the hospital because he had got a in his sacrum, a wound in his sacrum, which I don't understand. He'd been there 3 weeks. Last week I went there. They told me he was doing fine. But then all of a sudden, this morning, they want to send him to the hospital. So that kind of got me a little stressed out today. But there's nothing I can do about that. It's out of my hands. But I'm still a little stressed about it because, again, that is my 83-year-old dad. And I'm concerned with this corona. It's bad enough we can't even see him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. All I can do is pray on it and just hope he be okay. And use some of your techniques, Danielle, to relieve some of the stress. That's all I can do.
Yeah, I mean, and you bring up another top stressor is worrying about the health of a loved one, and it's even harder right now with restrictions in the hospital and in healthcare settings where it's either you can't visit or you can only visit at certain times.
Yeah, and then with my good news, with my my A1C going down, I'm doing good personally. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna think about that to relieve, because at the end of the day, I really, really got to take care of myself before I can be concerned about anything or anyone.
Yeah, and I think that you're already ahead of me in the, the presentation, right? You got to celebrate your accomplishments and things that are going well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Anything for you, Mr. Hillman?
As far as me, being a single dad, my son got me under a lot of stress right now. He's sitting in the next room, so I know he's listening. But yeah, he's I'm under a little stress because of this whole remote learning thing.
Yeah.
And, just trying to keep him on top of things is raising my stress level a little bit. He might not understand it, but it's stressing me out a little bit, making sure that he keeps it together. Along with just worried about my family during this whole pandemic thing, just trying to hold it down for everybody.
Yeah, those are two big points. One is, I personally don't know how parents and children are adjusting to this remote learning. I think it's tough for everyone. And I think everyone has ongoing concerns about their family and friends and if everyone's safe. So those are two good ones. Yeah. All right, thanks everyone. I appreciate it. I just realized I wasn't, hold on. Let me fix the slides here. Okay.
Engage.
Okay. So I want to tie in, because since the topic of our program is diabetes, I want to tie in sort of an unspoken complication that can occur with the diagnosis of diabetes. And it's up to you. I'll leave it up to you guys if you want to share, but these are some things that can happen emotionally when you get diagnosed with diabetes or any sort of I'm sorry, I was just doing a talk on mental health. I'm sorry, or any physical talks, physical diagnoses that can sort of change your life and sort of force you to kind of look at things differently and make some changes. So some of that can look like a lack of motivation. It can look like exhaustion, feeling overwhelmed or frustrated. Some people have guilt when they get this kind of diagnosis, or denial, fear, loneliness. And what we're talking about here is really with any major life change.
Was it a delivery here?
I'm sorry? Oh, I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Okay. So I don't know. Can anyone relate to this? Like having any of these feelings?
I had all of them.
You had all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I went
That's
through
understandable, right? Yeah.
all of them. Yeah.
If you think of all the things that you need to do with diabetes on a daily basis, it's difficult. You're constantly having to make a choice. It's, what do I have to eat? Should I have that? I really want this, but I really shouldn't have that. Oh my gosh, I need to remember to take all my pills. And I need to check my blood sugars. Yeah. And then guess what? You have your relatives, harping on you. Are you allowed to eat that? Kind of thing. So even when people, maybe have had diabetes 10 years ago, it still can get it's very exhausting. It's very overwhelming You know, and you can get frustrated with yourself because you know you need to perhaps make other choices, and frustrated with other people because they're on you, and they can be on you two different ways. One could be, oh, are you supposed to be eating that? And the other one could be, oh, you can have a little bit, it won't hurt you, right?
Mhm.
So, you know, how many of you run into circumstances where, you know, you've had that you're just so overwhelmed with either what you need to do or what other people are harping on you to do? Anybody?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
me, yeah.
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 You know, it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think acknowledging that all of this can be here, and you can sort of experience these emotions at different points, right? It's not like a step by step. You can kind of go back and forth with how you're feeling. And some days you're feeling great about it. Like Pamela today's having a great day and doing well. So really it's a wide range of emotions that can occur with a diagnosis like this. All right, so I can't do a presentation with you guys without making you do some breathing. So,
But hang on one second. Joe's in the car. I don't think he should close his eyes.
oh yeah, no, Joe, please don't
You're
close your eyes.
driving. Please don't close
No,
your
I'm up. It's just
Oh,
that,
you're good.
like I said, we had moved, and I just came to the old house because I had got a message from UPS that a package was here for us, but they said there's nothing here.
Uh-oh.
So I'm just sitting here.
Okay. So yeah, so sometimes I get the feedback from people when I'm talking about exercises and meditation and all that. They're like, well, I don't have time. And my response is now, well, you have like a minute to do some deep breathing. So we're simply going to take a few deep breaths, and that's it. And the point of this is just to show you that you don't need to kind of block out an hour necessarily. If you don't have the time, you can really just pause and ground yourself and take a few deep breaths wherever you are at any point in the day. So you are sitting, I think everyone's sitting. So if you can put your feet flat on the ground and just kind of lean back into the seat you're in and just let your body relax a little bit. And we're simply just going to take 3 deep breaths. So with the in breath, you want to have it be shorter than your out breath. So when you exhale, you really want to extend that exhale. And we're just going to take a deep breath, hold it for a couple seconds, and exhale. So let's get started. So we're going to inhale through your nose, hold for a few seconds, and exhale, pushing all that air out of your body. Okay, we're going to inhale through your nose, hold for a few seconds, and exhale through your mouth. And we'll do one more time. So we're going to inhale through our nose, hold for a few seconds, and exhale out your mouth. So that was it. That was 3 deep breaths. I don't know, does anyone notice anything different, or did they feel different just from a few deep breaths?
Feel a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah, so a little bit. So this is something, I mean, it's sort of, you know, you can do this when you're waiting in line, when you're waiting for an appointment, even when you're on a webinar listening to someone like me talk. You can kind of do it anywhere. And so I encourage you to kind of just remember that it's quick and easy, and a way to kind of ground yourself a little bit.
Danielle, sometimes I kind of will do this is, you know, one of the old parents thing is count to 10 before you react.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You know, you might want to explode and you're like, okay, wait a minute, let me count to 10. Rather than counting to 10, this is kind of like something that you can do, because believe it or not, those 3 deep breaths gives you an opportunity to focus on the breathing. And then it kind of also puts whatever's going on. It gave you that time to kind of, I don't want to say chill over what's going on, but to react differently.
Yeah.
Make a decision if you want to react differently.
Yeah, it gives you that time to kind of think a little more before you react. Yeah, that's great. Okay. So when we're talking about diabetes, distress, and burnout, I first just want to say that I admire you all for participating in this program? Because a lot of what you should be doing, you're already doing, right? So you're reaching out for professional help, you're talking to a healthcare provider, you're receiving support through this program, connecting with others that have diabetes. So I really commend you. I think this is such a difficult time to make any positive change in your life. And so the fact that you all are here and working on it, I want to commend you on that. I think it's wonderful. And in some ways I'm like, well, I don't know, you guys are already up doing what you need to be doing. But yeah, I think reaching out and talking to your loved ones about what it's like. And of course, you want to choose supportive family members to support you. And just let people know what you're doing. I mean, tell them about this program. Say, hey, my A1C is down today, and this is what I did, and or I've made it this far, and this is my goal. I think whatever you can do to have support around you through this process is important, and also just in the larger context of what we're all going through. I mean, it's so important to stay connected and reach out when you need help. I mean, that's just sort of the basics of how we're going to get through the next few months together. So, all right. So I'm just curious, what do you guys, I think I've heard you guys actually speak about some coping skills before, but what does everyone do to cope with stress? Like, what do you do to help yourself calm down or kind of work through an emotion?
Just take a deep breath, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So one thing, a little walking, to do the walking.
Yeah, walking. There we go. Yes, that's what I remember. You were talking about your walking and the Fitbits and all that.
Yeah.
That's a coping skill.
Yeah, Mr. Hellman, you're doing exercise, correct? Mr. Hellman? He muted.
He's on mute.
Yeah, okay. Joe, what do you do for exercise?
sorry.
All right.
I do a lot of walking, being that I'm a delivery person. So a lot of up and down the stairs, jumping off the back of the trucks.
So then I have a question for you. When you're doing all of that, is that a stress reducer or creating stress? Because it's working.
It depends on the day.
Okay, fair enough. What would you do? What do you do if you're under stress? I mean, you got the house. How do you chill?
I just go to my little room and grab me a bottle of water and just sit there.
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
So it's
just try to relax.
Kind of like meditation a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, taking a break. Yeah.
All right. And Mr. Hillman, what do you do for, coping about all the stress and all the things that are going on? I know you're exercising, right? He's back on mute again. Okay.
That's all right. Well, we do know he's exercising, so that's a great coping skill as well. All right, so let's talk about some more. So one of the things, we talk about acceptance a lot in the field, and I guess—
I just had an important phone call. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. We were just talking about coping skills, and I guess we answered for you that you're exercising right now.
Yeah. I try to get not as much as I usually exercise, but I am, I try to stay active as much as possible. I've been getting out doing my walks, not as much as I used to, but not as many miles as I used to, but I do get out and get at least a half an hour in.
Great. That's
Mhm.
great.
We all got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we're talking about acceptance, you can either look at this as sort of acceptance with a diagnosis or even acceptance with the current situation. I think acceptance is really hard because we're often future oriented and wondering what's going to happen and hoping things will happen. But acceptance is really just about being present, which goes along with mindfulness, which is sort of trying to ground yourself in what is actually happening. So for example, what is actually happening for me right now is I'm talking with all of you. So I don't really know what's beyond that or what's going to happen an hour from now or tomorrow, but it's difficult. It's hard to practice staying in the moment. But some things you can do. I mean, we talked about breathing exercises. There's also, I don't know if anyone uses any meditation apps, but there are apps available, and many of these apps have free trials if you want to check them out. Right now I use the Calm app, which has a lot of meditations, guided meditations. They have what's called sleep stories. So they kind of have people that can talk you to sleep, calming music. And so I recommend if that's something you're interested in, you can check out a free trial. I try and do it just to take 10 to 15 minutes out of the day to kind of do a meditation and ground myself.
Danielle,
Yeah.
there's a good one, Headspace.
Headspace, yeah.
That's the one I
Headspace.
prefer, but it's.
Oh, you have, yeah, I've used Headspace too. That one's good too. They even have Headspace for kids. So if you have kids at home, they have it designed for children as well. So yeah, you could even try a couple apps, see what works for you. But I know they're very popular right now. I do have to encourage you all to get outside. I know it's getting cold, and believe me, I don't like being out in the cold either. But if you're able to, I would encourage you to bundle up and continue your walking and continue whatever it is you're doing outside. I've been trying to do that myself, and it's just a great way to stay healthy and stay calm throughout the day and week. Another thing is self-compassion. I think there's a lot going on for all of us right now, and I think we can often be very critical of ourselves. And so it's important to remember that we're all doing the best we can each day, and that it's sometimes okay if you didn't get to everything, or if you didn't get everything done you wanted to get done, to just be kind and know that it's definitely a challenging time for all of us right now.
Danielle, I just wanted to talk a little bit in the diabetes perspective.
Yeah, go for it.
Let go of what you cannot control. How many of you have checked your blood sugars at home and for no reason you get the number from hell? All right, you get a 394 and there's absolutely no reason why you get that number. Anybody that happened to anybody where you just get this number that you go, really, what? Anybody?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I've been doing this diabetes education for forever, and that's probably one of the most frustrating things things that I hear frustrate people a lot with diabetes is they get a number that they just can't figure out why. That would be one of those things that it's easy for me to say, kind of get over it, move on. All right. But in essence, that's what you need to do, because diabetes is not exact. You know better than I that you can do the same thing today and tomorrow and get totally different sets of blood sugar values, correct? So what you need to do when you get one of those numbers and you're really frustrated about it, that's where you need to do some of those, stress management. All right. Yeah, you can rack your brain, but there's still going to be some of those numbers that you just go, I have no idea why it's that high. So like when I'm looking at somebody's blood glucose logs and I see a crazy number, it's above target, I might say, all right, you have any idea why? And, they'll tell me no. And I say, okay, move past it. All right, I'm not going to react to it. It's only a number. The other thing too is sometimes the healthcare community can make you stressed out. All right. How many of you been told, wow, your numbers are really bad? All right. Or your numbers are high. All right. Or, oh my God, what are you doing? All right. One of the things you have to remember is those numbers are just numbers. They're targets. All right. It's not that the numbers are good or bad, because if I say the numbers are bad, the impression is, well, you're bad. What did I do that was bad? Maybe you didn't do anything. Maybe you just need a medication adjustment. Maybe you're on vacation and had a food fest. All right. So you have to, look at those numbers in the context. They're only numbers. They're giving you data. That's all that it's doing. But if you find yourself getting frustrated over that, then that's honestly where you really need to reach out to somebody and kind of say, help me figure out what's happening. All right. That's where you tap into those resources that Danielle kind of, addressed a little bit earlier, whether it's an online support group, whether it's a support group like this, whether it's somebody else with diabetes. All right. Because it's somebody else with diabetes, it's definitely going to relate to some of the frustrations that are happening as a result of the diabetes. So.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Mary. Okay, physical well-being. I think you've talked a lot about, right? It wasn't the last presentation about physical wellness. So this is just a reminder to do whatever it is that you may have already come up with a plan, but whatever it is that gets you moving each day is important. So whether it's getting outside or dancing or participating in online exercise classes, whatever it is that, think of something you enjoy too. That's what I always say. So you want to enjoy what you're doing too. So pick something that keeps you active and keeps you healthy as far as your physical well-being. Okay, so acceptance and self-care with emotional well-being. I know we talked about staying connected. I can't emphasize this enough right now. I know it might look different. I know many of us are tired of virtual meetings and FaceTime and things like that, but it's still a way to stay connected. I know we have the holidays coming up, and most of us probably aren't going to gather the same way we're used to. So just remember to reach out, send a text, make a phone call, stay connected with your network of family and friends. It is so important, especially right now, and especially with the, share about what you're going through and listen to what they're going through. I think it's important. Whatever else you find that helps you stay calm or grounded, whether it's reading or listening to music, calling a friend and laughing is so therapeutic. I think that's so important right now. Playing with, whether you have kids or not, I encourage play, and just celebrating. I think sometimes you feel that you shouldn't celebrate milestones in your life, but yeah, you want to celebrate. So Pamela's news today is something to celebrate. Birthdays, holidays, you still want to celebrate them, even though it might look a little different. But
don't celebrate with food.
Oh, right. Yes, I'm not saying, yes, thanks. Celebrate with joy and laughter and singing maybe. But yeah, it's a reminder. I know you probably know all these things, but it's just like a reminder to get us through the holidays, to kind of do your best to stay connected and celebrate, and yeah, and kind of keep the connection with everyone. So I like to always offer emotional health resources. So on the right here, these are all hotlines that are available 24/7. There's even one for youth. So I just, if you want to take a picture, or just I can also send this to you. It's just for you to have, for yourself or anyone else. We want to just let people know if you are struggling, that there are resources available 24/7. So you could always just have that on hand. And also we have services through Englewood Health. If you want to check out our website. But I do just like to offer, if people feel they can't handle a situation on their own, that there is help available, and it's certainly worth it to reach out and stay connected. So
Yeah, all of those
Oh.
resources, are they 24/7?
all on the right here, all these hotlines are, yeah.
Okay.
But here is our services through Englewood Health, and those are outpatient services, so they're not 24/7, but these hotlines are.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So any questions or comments about what we talked about today?
No, pretty good.
I just want to talk about a little bit of living with other people.
Mhm.
All right, because people that don't have diabetes, and they want to be supportive and they mean well, but they don't realize all the hard work that you're putting into managing this diabetes. All right, and they may not necessarily appreciate it, and there's times that you might want to throw the towel in on some of it. So, and how many times have you been offered advice from someone that doesn't necessarily have diabetes or know anyone from diabetes, but they heard it on Dr. Google, that this is a good thing? How many of you have run into circumstances where people mean well, but you just kind of get frustrated with all the comments that people are making? Anybody? No? Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, you want to, if you're living with somebody, you want to maybe have a conversation with them to say, how can they be helpful to you? And that's individualized. Some people want, could you remind me to take my medicine, or could you remind me to check my blood sugars? Some people kind of want to say, you know, I got this diabetes, leave me alone, let me manage it. And if you see I'm doing something that I shouldn't do, kind of just give a little nudge or a little conversation. Because sometimes the way that family members can approach you could sometimes throw you off. You know, how many times, you know, you might have been in a fight or a relationship with someone and, you know they're right, but you're like, I'm not going to pay any attention to them, right? And sometimes this is what happens with the diabetes world. So if you find yourself that you're living with someone that is kind of driving you crazy, giving you wrong information or giving you unsolicited advice you didn't ask for, all right, then that's probably worth a conversation with them to say, you know, look, honey, I love you dearly, but let's talk about this. Or, you know, you can always pick up the phone and call me and say, hey, Mary, you know, I heard this. What's the story? My wife is giving me grief about this. What do you think? It's worth a conversation because diabetes is a family disease. It's not just yours. It's a family disease. All right. For those of you that, you know, live with someone and cook, do you cook separate meals?
Yeah.
Well, technically you don't need to, okay? I mean, the diabetes diet doesn't exist anymore. It's really healthy eating, all right? You know, but there's separate meals. There's remembering to take your medication. So it's a matter of working with whoever you're living with or who you have a relationship with to say, you need to let them know how they can support you. Just don't assume that they know how to support you.
Right.
You know, I'm the type of person, you know, I'm a very thick Irish woman. And if somebody told me, you know, black, I'm probably going to say white. If somebody said jump, I would say heck no. You know, and they may mean very well, but I'm like, I'm a thick Irish woman. What can I say? I'm very stubborn. So I would need to have that conversation with someone and say, look, the way that you can help me is don't nag me about taking my medication. Because if you're nagging me, I'll probably just turn my back around and say, oh, I'm just not taking it. Now, of course, I'm being foolish because I'm hurting myself. But that's worth a conversation with your family members or your support person to say, how can they help you keep up what you're doing? Keep up with your successes. Okay. Think about where you were when you started this program and think about where you are now. What have you done differently? What have you improved on? You want to build on that. Let your family support you. And if you don't have anybody to support you, go online, find an online community. All right. So family members and support systems are really important in managing this diabetes because it can be a day-to-day struggle. Sometimes a minute-to-minute struggle.
Are there any good diabetic support groups that you are aware of or involved in, Mary?
Well, I mean, we used to have one here that ran once a month, but obviously with COVID, it's a little bit more difficult. There is, I just drew a blank as to the name. There is one online. There are Facebook online support groups. There's Facebook support groups for people that take insulin.
Okay.
All right. There's another one called Diatribe, DIATRIBE. Okay, that's also a pretty good support group. That would probably be the first one that would come to my mind off the top of my head. It's a good point.
Okay. Actually, if you have a list, Mary, you can send it to me and I can email it along with the link.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
Are the diabetic educators within Englewood Health Physician Network, are they doing group Zoom? Well, will they eventually restart doing group Zooms?
They have done a few groups, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing the Zoom groups yet, but we have done a few.
I just found diatribe.org, so I just put the link in the
Thank
chat. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go to chat, everybody, at the bottom of your screen, and there it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I have it up on mine. I'm not recording though.
Okay.
A good resource even for information is diabetes.org. That's the American Diabetes Association. All right, so and they also are jam-packed with a ton of really good information as well. And a lot of good, educational pieces that you can also get as well.
Okay, great.
And maybe I would also encourage family and friends to read through it too. You don't have to be the only one learning and educating. You can ask them to kind of go along with you on this.
They also have the diabetes.org also has some good recipes too.
Mm.
So
Okay.
that are open to, you don't have to have diabetes to have those recipes. They're good recipes. For
I have
those
a question for the group. since we're talking so much about emotional well-being and having a support network, what support do you all need? Is it family support? Is it professional support from your provider? Is it peer support from other members that have diabetes? What is it? Because you're probably all need support in different ways. You may all need support in different ways. So I'm just curious what your support needs are.
So far, this group is really been very supportive
Oh, great.
as far as now.
Okay.
So I'm content right now with you guys.
Good.
Good.
That was our hope for the program. So that's great.
Yeah, I'm really appreciating it. The last meeting was awesome with the PT guy,
Yeah, John.
even though it went an extra hour, but it was informative and it was good.
Okay.
So I'm just looking forward to the next meetings and
Okay.
who's ever coming on. Knowledge is power, you know, so
Yes.
I'm just enjoying the group, that's all.
Very good. And how about Mr. Hillman, Sandra, Joe?
Pretty much just you know, my support group, the way I look at it is just working close with my doctor and you know, anybody that I come in contact with that you know, that's helping me to you know, get better from this you know, diabetes. Yeah, that's it. That's why I was asking about the what did I ask about last time? The physical therapist and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would like to have all of that in the group. That would help me you know, to do all the things that I need to do to feel better and to keep moving forward.
Right. That's what, okay.
Mhm.
And EHPN network. Got it.
Mhm.
Okay. And Joe and Sandra, you feel supported?
I actually enjoy this group a lot. You know, I've learned a lot from it. So, and I really enjoyed past 2 week session that we had.
Oh, great.
So, learn a lot from it.
Great.
Yeah, I get a lot of support from my wife.
Good.
She's trying to get me to eat a little better. Being a truck driver on the road, there's not too many places where you can get healthy food.
Right.
Oh, that's so
So-
true. So
Yeah.
true.
What recommendations? Because Joe, I've had many patients that are truck drivers, not many, but a few, and it is challenging. So
Mhm.
actually, Mary, I'm going to pick your brain. How do you?
So I mean, the first thing is, can you bring the food in? Can you bring food into the cab? You know, can
Yeah.
you? Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
sometimes bringing food with you is better than stopping at. You know, if you think about where you're stopping, it's so easy to stop at a fast food place.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? And yeah, of course, that's not the best food in the world. So a lot of times we're going to recommend, you know, bringing your own food with you. If you were stopping somewhere during the day, probably before fast food, I would say you're better off stopping at a deli and getting like a sandwich. All right. Still fast food, kind of. All right. But it's not going to have, you know, it also depends on what you order. But in general, you know, you could order a turkey sandwich, chicken sandwich, tuna. It's not going to be as bad as going to McDonald's or Burger King. However, if someone can only stop at McDonald's or Burger King, there are healthier choices there. Healthier, I'm putting in quotes. Okay. But like I wouldn't be doing the French fries, you know, kind of scenario. So definitely we recommend bringing your own food. Sometimes it may just be snack food. Sometimes it might be like a bar, you know, like a protein bar, and you know, a piece of fruit and you know, cracker. You know, you could do cut up cheese, throw some crackers in a container, and you can bring that with you. So there are options. It becomes
Also-
like, what do you like and what don't you like, and what needs to be refrigerated.
Right.
Also, Joe, I'm Pamela. My husband is a truck driver,
Mhm.
and you know what I do for him? Because I know sometimes he don't even eat all day, and when he gets home, he be starving like. And I told him you can't do that. So what I do, I pack him some fruits, apples, bananas. I even get the like the little granola bars. I throw that in for him.
Right.
Always send him with water. Once in a while, I'll send him with a turkey. He eats way more healthier than I do. But I'll make him a sandwich. So even if your wife or even yourself, pack you a bag at night, you know, or some fruit, nuts, little snacks or whatever to hold you over instead of stopping at them fast food restaurants. And I know you
Mhm.
like an old burger once in a while, probably. We all do, that fast food. But you got to keep in mind, Joe, you're a diabetic now. You got to do a little healthier. Okay?
Yeah, because like normally I'm not really a burger person. Like I'd rather get a chicken sandwich or something from Wendy's or wherever. But
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times when I go on the road, because I just do overnight, I just take a couple of bottles of water with me.
Well, just take some fruit with your apples, a banana. Yeah, like the little granola bars, they're really good. You know, they have the nuts in it, the raisins in it. They're healthy too. I
You
mean,
might
just
also
take your,
Okay.
consider taking some protein with you.
yeah.
The nuts definitely like, I would bring something with you. Just, this is the nurse in me coming out. Joe, are you taking any diabetes medication?
Yes.
Can I ask what you're taking?
What's the name of it?
Metformin.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that the only one, or are you taking another one?
Jodulite or something with a J.
Januvia,
Genovia.
I think so.
and that's
But
all.
it's all mixed in into one.
Janumet,
Yeah, there you go.
and that's the only thing you're taking?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm not worried about low blood sugar. That was why I was asking. Okay, but like if you're hungry, grab a protein.
Hmm.
You know, grab, you know how they make those little cheese things, those little Bonnie Bell cheeses, or grab a packet of nuts. All right,
Right.
not to spike your blood sugar very much, I don't, if at all, but that way you have something with you in case you are hungry.
Hmm.
Okay,
Because normally I stop at the store, I ain't gonna lie, I get a pack of sunflower seeds. And
okay,
that'll normally, like, I get a big bag and that'll normally last me through the night because I only work about 4 or 5 hours. So
gotcha.
it's just
Okay,
that I go to work 1 o'clock in the morning. I normally get off about 5 or 6.
okay, so that's a little bit different than you drive in, I'm imagining you drive in 8 hours.
Oh, no.
Okay,
No, my
Yeah.
route is local.
you had me worried there for a minute, Joe.
Yeah, my route is local. I don't do the long hauls.
Okay, got it. Good.
All right.
All right. All right, well, it was a pleasure joining the group again. I can come back and do another breathing exercise if you guys want. But thank you all for joining us again this evening. It was great to hear from you. And if I don't see you, happy holidays to you all, and keep up the good work. I think it's wonderful what you're doing. So thank you.
Same to you. Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Happy holidays.
All
Happy
right.
holidays, everyone.
So this will be our Zoom this week. The next 2 weeks are going to be clinical check-ins. So I think Danielle and maybe Anna will be making some calls.
It might just be me, but yeah, I might reach out and check in, see how you're doing. Yeah.
And then the week after, myself and Lee will be calling again just to check in, see how everybody's doing. And then our last week is December 29th. So it's after Christmas. And it's Tuesday, December 29th at 4 o'clock. And it'll be a wrap-up Zoom. So there'll be no one speaker. It's going to be our team. And then all of you as well, just to close it out, talk about the program in general, see how we're all doing, connect one last time as a group. And then Lee will still continue after the program to reach out to you guys. So we'll go from there, but keep up the good work because the changes that you're making are awesome and they will, last you throughout your years with diabetes. So the changes you are making are good for you, not just for this program. So
I always use the analogy of what you're doing now is an investment in the future. All right. And if you make it, think of it this way, I'm not sure this is a good analogy today, but if let's say you put the money in the bank and you make a good investment, you have money for the future.
Yeah.
If you put the money in the bank and it tanked, okay, you don't have money for the future. What you do today, believe it or not, for your health, actually in the diabetes arena makes a difference in your future. All right, we know that for sure. So getting the A1Cs lower, eating healthy, incorporating exercise, losing weight if you need to. Any change that you do now, believe it or not, does make a difference in 5 years and 10 years from now. And that's what this is about. Okay, this is about staying healthy, bottom line. So this is an investment in your future, and you guys literally made the investment. So thank you.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
Yep, great work, everybody. All right, well, it was a pleasure seeing everyone. Glad you all joined us, and we look forward to seeing you again on the 29th and talking to you before then.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.